Guys, it's Katie from Team Lucky Little Learners, and this week we are talking about one of my absolute favorite things I ever did as a teacher, and it is something that students loved and still came and talked to me about years after they were done being in my class. Right? You're wondering, what is this splendid idea you have, Katie? Camping in the classroom. And yeah, I'm not talking about a traditional camping trip, but setting up a classroom transformation. Now, you might be thinking, ooh, that sounds like a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time. It does not have to be. Classroom transformations can actually be quite simple, especially since we've done a majority of the work for you. So before we dive into how to make your classroom a campground, let's talk about the whys. Why do classroom transformations? Well, there's many reasons. My main three are they're engaging and hands-on, they are cross-curricular, and they are core memory making. Like I said in the intro, I had students coming to me 5-6 years later saying, remember we did that Camp Read-A-Lot day? I'll never forget that. What an amazing thing to hear as a teacher. So let's dive into what your classroom camping scene is going to look like. So step one to have a camping in the classroom day is to set the scene. And like I said a minute ago, it can be as simple or as big as you want it. If you have a tent at home or a little teepee style play tent, you could bring those in. You can also use bed sheets, large bath towels, blankets to make different campsites around your classroom. I also sometimes brought in Christmas lights and plugged those in and strung them across my whiteboard just for some more cozy lighting vibes. If you have singular desks, here is a perfect way to create a tent. You're going to tape a binder to the desktop, and then I used Dollar Tree tablecloths to make individual camping tents. So you've decided how you're going to decorate your classroom for your Camp Read-A-Lot day. What can you do ahead of time to get ready? I like to send home this note with students, letting parents know what's on the horizon and what they can bring, like blankets, sleeping bags, pillows, flashlights, stuffed animals. You draw the line of what your kids can handle and what you want coming into your classroom. I also wanted to set up before the students got there. Now, before I go into this section, if you are wanting your students to help set up Camp Read-A-Lot, you could have all the materials ready and have them set up when they get there. I always set up before they got there because I never told my students much about the day, just that it was a Camp Read-A-Lot day, and they kind of figured they were going to bring in their sleeping bags and pillows and lay around and read all day. Little did they know, right? So I would either do it the end of the school day the day before, or I would come in the morning before and set up. I usually just brought in one tent, and then I had tables, so I would bring in a bunch of blankets to kind of set up the scene. I also like to hang up the banner and these center signs. These were vital for my camping classroom day because I had students rotate around to every campsite during the day. A couple of the campsites had math activities and some had reading or writing activities. And this is how I ensured they did everything they needed to that day. I gave them this checklist and they just checked it off as soon as they finished a campsite rotation. So now let's dive into the activities that you can do. We're going to go through each subject area. Keep in mind, do as little of these or all of these, whatever works best for you. Starting off with math. Now, when students first walk into the classroom, they're going to be very excited, and it's great to have something for them to do to keep the calm and productiveness of the day. So I had this I Spy graphing activity at each of their little campsites, and they color in objects based on category and create a bar graph and answer questions about it. This was a great way to start the morning. We did a whole group lesson, and this lesson focuses on measurement tools. Students will go through these slides with me and just decide which tool they would use. I often had them write their answer on a whiteboard and then they would show it. Then we would move on to warm-ups. Now these are differentiated at 3 different levels. So every student could do a warm-up that was best suited to their ability. This could also be a center. So let's take a look at the different center options you have for your math campsites. So like I said, you could do the warm-ups as a center. You could use this trading post center and this addition center. If you are also needing a brain break, and it's possible with your weather, take your students outside for an outdoor measurement hunt. They love getting up out of their seats and getting some fresh air. Really quick, before I move on, I want to tell you in the description is a link that leads to a $1 trial for our teacher membership site. All Access is our membership site with over 20,000 resources that are available just to click, print, and teach. We've done the heavy lifting for you. You get to do the fun part. Moving on to our literacy activities. We're going to kick off the day with a whole group reading lesson. You could choose any camping themed type of book you have or a book that focuses on skills your students currently need. I love reading this book, A Camping Spree with Mr. McGee. And then there were so many activities I could choose from with this book. Do what suits your needs. After our whole group lesson, we moved on to our stations again. And this time I'm going to show you what would be at some of the reading campsites. Remember, students are rotating throughout these campsites during the whole day. So sometimes they'll be doing math, sometimes they'll be doing reading, but here's what I put at my reading campsites. I would do reading buddy questions because one of my stations had a basket of books and I wanted them to buddy read, but I didn't want them to just mess around. So we would have these questions. They would ask each other about their book. Other reading center ideas would be this build a word. There's a variety of these available in our Camp Read A Lot pack, but I chose the Camp Read A Lot words. Students cut out these letter tiles and can arrange them at their area to make as many words as possible. I liked doing this in partners. We also had a Write the Room challenge with these task cards, a camp memories writing, which could also be a great end of the day or the next school day activity. There's also some how-to writing prompts, which are another great station. During the day, you may have more independent reading time than normal. It just goes great with the relaxing camping scene that you've set. So before I have my students independently read, we're going to review what a good reader looks like with this anchor chart. This is a great whole group lesson before you head into your first center rotation. And I'm going to have students fill out a book review 1 or 2 times during the day just to make sure they're reading and not falling asleep in their cozy little campsites. For science, we're going to do this amazingly fun animal tracks station, and here's why it is so fun. First, the students will match the animal tracks to the animal, and you could have them show you to let them know if they're correct or not. And I'm also going to either have baskets of animal books focusing on the animals in the center, or have a couple laptops ready to go on Epic, and then they can buddy read these books about each of the animals and fill in a fact on their recording sheet about that animal. For social studies, we are going to do this map skills worksheet, which is just a fun way to review the compass rose. For an art activity, we are going to do this design a campsite project. This can be done in 2D or 3D, and it's just a fun way to practice map skills. Students absolutely love designing and visiting other kids' campsites. Some extra things you can do. At the end of the day, you can give a brag tag or a certificate of completion. There's also snack labels. Just a lot of things to make the day extra fun. Now that I've shown you everything you can do during camp day, when should you do it? Well, there's actually quite a few times of the year this could be a great option. During Read Across America Week with the extra reading minutes you're going to get this day. National Reading Month. It can even be during the National Park Week, which is April 20 through 28th this year. Maybe on Earth Day on April 22nd. I always used it as an end of the year celebration. So in conclusion, why should you do a camping in the classroom day? It is engaging, it's hands-on, and students will remember this day for a long time. It also provides a great break from routine of the normal school day. Have you used a camping classroom transformation or any other themed day in your classroom? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear about it. Also in the comments are the links to any of the resources seen in this video and links to our blog posts on our other classroom transformation ideas. We'll see you next week. Be sure to check out these 2 videos and subscribe to never miss any teaching tips and tricks.